Okay. Well, all right. Okay. What has happened with the rest? Well, think of an example with second conditional. Have you got one? An example with second conditional.
If I were a doctor, I would love my job.
Right, very good. One more with second conditional.
If I had enough money, I would buy a new mobile.
Good, a new mobile, very good. Let's think an example in second conditional, but in the negative. Who has got one?
If I were rich, I won't have to job when I grow up.
I wouldn't have a job, you said? Yes, or I wouldn't have to work, or I wouldn't work. Yes, okay. And in the negative, in the first part?
If I weren't I wouldn't have a job if I were rich.
Yeah, well, that's enough. That's the same as the previous one. I mean, negative in the part where we have if. Perhaps it's easier if you think if you on something in the negative.
If you weren't him, if you weren't Sam, for example, what would you say to him?
If you
Weren't Sam.
If you weren't his brother, or if you weren't in love with, what would you? Okay. If you suppose somebody smokes, what can you tell him or her?
If you weren't smoke, wasn't.
Well, you are nearer, but you is not used with was, with the other one.
Were.
Okay, so if you weren't, sorry. We have to use smoke, but in the negative and in the past. So what do we need?
If you weren't smoke.
Simple past in the negative.
Didn't.
Yes. So if you didn't smoke.
What will.
You would feel better, for instance, or you wouldn't have a cough. Okay. Suppose You eat a lot of ice cream, a lot of chocolate, a lot of cakes, a lot of sweets. Start with the negative again.
Parece que me dejan sola. O sea, pongan todos los micrófonos.
Let's see, Sophia. Suppose somebody eats a lot of chocolate, a lot of ice cream, a lot of sweets. What can you tell her or him?
¿Usando qué?
Suppose that somebody, a friend of yours, eats too much chocolate, too many sweets, he eats too many cakes. So what can you tell him or her? If you
eat too much sweets, you will get sick.
Okay, fine, that's okay. Now, let's think of another example using second conditional this time and starting with something in the negative for the same situation.
If you didn't, no,
Yes, if you didn't what?
if you didn't eat too much sweets,
Mhm.
you would not get sick.
Yes, okay. If you didn't eat so many sweets, not so much, so many sweets, very good. You wouldn't get sick. Okay, well, let's go to adjectives ending in ing or in ed. Okay? Well, when do we use adjective? Why or when do we use an adjective ending in ed? To speak about what or to describe what?
A feeling.
A feeling, okay. What somebody feels, very good. And when do we use ing?
When we describe how
What you make
we
you
start.
How something is or what something is like, or you said, Valentina?
to describe what you makes you feel.
Yes, what makes you feel like that? What makes you, the cause of somebody's feeling. Yes, okay. So, well, you think an example of a sentence using disappointing. Disappointing.
The book was very disappointing.
Yes. Suppose you read the title of the book and you bought it. And then you read it all. You didn't like it. So it was disappointing. Very good. Let's use disappointed.
I feel a little disappointed.
What?
Because I saw a bad film.
Okay. Right. Very good. Let's see another one with scared or frightened.
I will feel frightened if I'm alone at home.
But you said I would feel frightened if I, and then? Can you?
Yeah.
I don't know if I heard you properly, Mateo. Can you finish again? I would feel frightened if I
hear a noise when I'm alone.
if I heard a noise. Yes, I couldn't hear you properly. If I heard a noise when I'm alone. Okay, good. Fine. Let's use amazing. Very, very surprising. Amazing. Wow.
The film was amazing.
So it's a film that you would like to see again because it was amazing. Fantastic. Okay. And what about astonished? Astonished is like surprised, a synonym.
The rainbow is very astonished.
Are you describing the rainbow or what somebody feels?
When I saw a rainbow, I was very astonished.
Yes, that's right. What you can say is that the rainbow was astonishing. Really beautiful. Okay, let's use interesting.
The new teacher is so interesting.
Very good. And interested? Sophia, interested? Sophia, I can't hear you.
Hablando con el micrófono apagado. ¿Cómo?
Interested.
This film is really interesting. No. I'm interested in art.
Oh, fine, good. Okay, let's go to the use of wish to speak about things that you would like to be different, okay? So, let's talk about yourselves. What could you say about yourselves using wish? Yes, Valentina?
I wish I didn't have insomnia.
Oh, good. Do you have a bath before going to bed?
What?
If you have a bath or a shower before going to bed?
Yes, but it isn't like something like affect me.
Are you sure? Because
Yes.
I ask you this because for 2 or 3 years I suffered from the same. And in those days I used to have a bath late at night before going to bed. And I couldn't fall asleep, no way. And then I started having a bath either in the morning or at midday or in the afternoon, and I go to bed and I fall asleep immediately. So I know that I can't have a bath before going to bed because if not, I suffer from insomnia. That's why I tell you. You can try if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see someone else.
I wish I were better in sports.
I wish I were what?
I wish I were better in sports.
Better, not in.
At sports.
At sports. Remember that you are good or you're bad at. Okay. Yes, Sophia?
I wish I was rich.
I wish I was rich or I wish I were rich. Very good. Mateo?
I wish I were more tidy.
I wish I were tidier. Tidier. Remember that tidy has 2 syllables and it finishes in Y. Yes, when it finishes in Y, like lazy or tidy, we add IER. Lazier, tidier. Mhm. Is it clear or not?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Well, who else? Nobody else. Okay. Now, instead of talking about yourselves, let's talk about somebody else or about something external to you, about something not about yourselves, let's say. Something that you would like to be different, or if you would like somebody else to be different. Oh, me estoy quedando sin batería. Wait for a second, I'll get the wire. Here I am. Well, have you thought of another one to talk about somebody else or about the situation? Yes, who?
Me.
Yes, Mateo.
I wish my aunt lived near.
Yes, near my house. Very good. Any other? Yes, Victoria?
I wish school were easier.
Okay, I wish school was easier or were easier. Very good. Okay, well, let's go now to the use of so or such. What do we use after so? Think of an example and you will know.
An adjective.
Yes, an adjective. For example, the music was
So loud.
That we couldn't hear to one another. Okay. And what do we use when we have such?
Adjective. An object.
Yes. And before the adjective?
A or am.
Exactly. Unless it is in the negative. Yes. So let's think of an example with such a.
It was such a good film.
It was such a good film that everybody wanted to see it. Okay. And if I say Mary is such a, Mary is such a,
noisy girl that nobody wants to be like near her.
that nobody wants to be near her. Right. Okay. And if it is in the plural form, we omit a or an. For example,
They are such good players.
that they always beat the other teams. Good. Okay. Well, what I'm going to tell you now is the ending of a sentence, and you have to think how to begin it. Okay. That he left her. That's the end. So think of a beginning. That he left her.
Sophie was such a complicated girl that he left him.
Yes, he left. Very good. That everybody fears him. That everybody fears him.
He's so aggressive that everybody fears them.
Yes, very good. Any other possibility? Using such?
He's such an aggressive guy that everybody fears
him. Very good. That everybody got an excellent. That everybody got an excellent.
Exam was so easy that everyone got an excellent.
Yes, or the other possibility?
The exam was such an...
Wait. How should you start to be able to use such? Because if we start, it was
such an easy exam that everyone had an excellent.
Very good. It was such an easy exam. Remember the pronunciation. Exam. Okay. Right. Okay. Now let's imagine that you want to do something together at the weekend. Yes, to do something together at the weekend. Make some suggestion until you agree on what to do, where to go, or what to do, when, what time, etc., etc. So think a dialogue. Let's see now, Sofia and Valentina.
Well,
So try to agree on what to do to go out together. So you will have to make some suggestions until you come to an agreement and you decide what you're going to do at the weekend.
How about watching the news?
Um, um, I'm not into it.
We could watch a film.
It sounds great.
What kind of film?
What about horror film?
I'm not sure. I prefer to watch a film, a comedy, a funny film.
It sounds funny.
That sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
Well, try to round up.
Okay, let's watch a comedy.
Well, fine. Let's see, and you say the name, and at that time, at a certain time. Okay, let's see Mateo and Victoria.
What about playing tennis?
I prefer to play football.
I'm not sure. I'm not really good at football.
Okay, what about watching a movie?
Okay, it sounds good. Let's watch an horror film.
Sure, I love it.
Okay, fine. Okay, well, then we have to revise phrasal verbs. Well, you remember what to find out means?
Discover something.
Okay. I was reading a book when I found out that my great-grandmother had been San Martin's lover. Yes, to discover something unexpectedly. Okay, well, to give up.
Like when you leave something.
Yes, when you stop doing something. Yes. What have you given up, for instance?
Reading a book because I finished it.
Well, because you finished.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be used in that case. It has to be something repeated and that you stop doing, but not because you finished. It must be because you decided not to go on with that.
I have a book because it's so boring.
So you gave it up. Yes, you gave up reading it because it was boring. In that case, it's okay. Right. And to look up. Who remembers what it is?
Like search information.
It's like
Yes, ma'am.
It's like searching something
On where, Mateo?
on a book.
Yes, or where you have a list of words or a list of numbers. Also, you can use a book. Okay, well, let's see those verbs followed by to or ing. If I say, I refused
To.
to. Peter suggested.
ing.
ing. The girl denied.
ing.
ing. Keep.
Ing.
Keep going, keep trying, keep studying. Yes. Manage.
To.
Yes. Stop.
To.
Well, really with stop you can use both, but in different cases. For example, suppose you are making mistakes and I can say stop. Stop to think. That is, stop. What for? Well, to think. Stop to reconsider the situation. So why should you stop? To reconsider. But I say stop talking or stop dancing or stop watching TV. That is not what for, but stop doing an activity that you were doing. So both are possible, but the meaning is different. So if I say, be careful, stop.
To do. To do something.
Well, it depends what you're thinking. Stop to do what, for instance?
Stop to think about other things while you drive.
Okay, in that case, it would be right. But suppose you are cycling too fast and I say, be careful, stop cycling or stop going so fast or stop running, yes? So interrupt that action that you were doing, that is with ing. Susan offered to help me or to help you or to make. You decide
To.
So very good. Fancy.
ing.
Very good. Famous. Well, these are adjectives. But what preposition do we use after the following adjectives? Famous. For. Proud. Of. Yes. Your mommy is proud of you. Angry. You get angry.
By.
Not by. With somebody. You get angry with your brother because he touches your things, or you get angry with someone. You worry
About
something. You're keen
to.
You're keen on something. Okay. Well, then remember to, I don't know, me parece, sí, ya había aparecido lo de los 10 minutos, ¿no? Bueno, remember to revise rules, obligation, have to, don't have to, didn't have to, must. Bueno, y a ver si llegamos a comentar the end of the story. So, I don't know, practice at home how to retell the story. Yes? If you want, you can write a summary and you read sometimes so that you can feel free to retell it. Who can tell me the end of the story? Because you had read up to the middle, more or less. What happens after that? What happens once the man has fallen asleep in room 7?
She woke up suddenly and saw a man. And the man said something like, "You can't find the true story," or something like that. I don't know.
Yes, you have found out what I couldn't find out, something like that. Yes. What was strange about the situation?
That the man was a ghost.
Apparently it was a ghost, right? And something connected with darkness and light. What was that?
The room was dark and the lights turned off.
Mhm. But
The man was shining.
exactly. So all the room was in the dark except that chair. And well, then the man sitting on the chair. Right. Okay. What happened after that?
Mr. Richards, the man fell asleep, and Mr. Richards woke him up for breakfast. And he went downstairs for the breakfast.
Did he say what he had seen?
No.
No. And what do you think he really felt or he thought?
No, but that it was a ghost, but the hotel, the receptionist didn't want to tell him.